You guys know what this represents?
Fellowship.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the stormy?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr.
We have the
President?
world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Give us a hint on your decision.
Thank you, everybody.
Shalom, my brothers and sisters, those in the truth, those that are awake. Wanted to see if we can figure out what Trump meant when he said calm before the storm. Y'all has shown me that Strong's Concordance and Gematria is supernaturally composed, and here I have put calm before the storm in Gematria, and we get 198. Now, if we can, let's go to Strong's 198 and see if we can figure out what he meant by calm before the storm. We see here that it's the word ulam, and the definition is two Israelites. I wonder if this is maybe in reference to the two witnesses at the end of time. If we go on down here and we look at the word origin, the origin of this word, we see that it's UL or UWL. As you've seen in my other videos, the W is really a vowel, so you can also spell it this way. And it says the body or the belly as being rolled together, mighty in strength, powerful. So forceful would be another word that we could say here. And I'm going to go back and let's take another look at this word. We'll scroll on down. And it says to also see the Hebrew word elam. Let's see what this word elam, let's root it on down. Satan really dug deep to hide the truth. So let's dig on down to find out. This original word meant to bind forcefully, to bind. And you can see down here, became speechless, become mute, binding, mute, silent, and speechless. It makes me think of the movie Silence of the Lambs. Now, makes me think of this this image here. Oh, I had it pulled up here. Makes me think of this image here. And I made this meme a while back, but thank you for being complacent, Satan. See, this is the silencing of the lambs. Satan is making you out to be a virus. But let's move. Become mute, binding. Let's see if we can find this word bind in Scripture and see if we can figure out what this might mean. Matthew 13:30. Let's scroll on down here and look at a couple different translations. Let both grow together until the harvest. This is the end of time. He's talking about the harvest is the end of time. And at the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, first gather together the tares. So first, the tares is going to be gathered together. In Christianity, they're taught that the opposite. But he says here, first gather the tares. These are the lawless ones. And bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. See, we see this word bind. So when Trump said calm before the storm, he's talking about the binding has begun. The lawless is going to start being rounded up. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. And Yah told me through my Ruach, he said, put in, there's a storm coming. We see this in a lot of movies and in songs. There's a storm coming. There's a storm coming equals 222. And then Yah has shown me to cross-reference this over to Strong's. 222 is Uriel. Flame of Yah. And you'll see here also the two Israelites, the two witnesses. This flame of Yah is also referred to as the Ruach HaKodesh of Yah. It's the righteous spirit of Yah. But as you can see, we can come on down and the flame, the burning flame of Yah. Now what's Yah going to do with this burning flame? Let's see if we can determine what Yah is going to do with this burning flame. This is the storm that Trump is speaking of when he says the calm before the storm. This is the storm. This is the storm. And I'll show you a couple little movie clips that might help put an explanation to it for you. This is a little movie clip probably several of you seen, but I'm going to play it here for you and hope I don't get a YouTube strike. But
well, listen up. There is a storm coming like nothing you have ever seen, and not a one of you is prepared for it.
did you hear what he said? He said there's a storm coming and not one of you are prepared for it. None of you are prepared for the wrath of Yah. He's coming. And he's talking about the wrath of Yah is coming and none of you are prepared. Now, let's watch this other little clip right here. This was from a movie called The Stand, and it was the plague version of The Stand, the movie.
Who are you, ma'am? Abigail Freeman. But folks around these parts just call me Mother Abigail. I'm 106 years old and I still make my own bread. I've been living right here in Hemingford Home, Nebraska all my life. You come see me, Nick. You and all your friends. You got to hurry though. There's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming.
His storm.
There's a storm coming. All kinds of movies tell you there's a storm coming. But do any of you have eyes to see and ears to hear what they're telling you? I don't think so. I'm going to show you the storm that's coming to the lawless ones. The storm that's coming is a fire storm. The flame of Yah is coming. Now let's read a few verses in Scripture to give you clarity on this storm that's coming, aka Yah's wrath. This is 2 Peter 3:11 and 12. Since all these things are to be destroyed in this way, he's talking about with fire, what sort of people ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of Yah? He says, man, are you not crazy? Shouldn't you be living a righteous life at this time so that you're not caught in the fire? Because of which the heavens will be destroyed by burning, and the elements will melt with intense heat. There's a fire coming. There's a fire storm coming. This is Psalms 75:2 and 3. When I, Yah, select an appointed time, it is I who will judge fairly. The earth and all who dwell in it melt. When you burn things, they melt. It is I, Yah, who have firmly set its pillars. Selah. Isaiah 24:1 through 6. Behold, Yah lays the earth waste, devastates it, distorts its surface, and scatters its inhabitants. And the people will be like the priest, and the servant like his master, the maid like her master, the buyer like the seller, the lender like the borrower, the creditor like the debtor. The earth will be completely laid waste and completely despoiled. For Yah has spoken this word. It's been spoken, so it's going to happen. The earth mourns and withers. The world fades and withers. The famous people of the earth fade away. All your rock stars, all your movie stars, all your presidents, all your people of renown are going to fade away. It's going to flip-flop. The poor is going to become the rich is going to become the poor, if not destroyed. The earth is also polluted by its inhabitants, talking about all you people that eat swine, all you people that won't keep the Sabbath, all you people that celebrate Christmas and Easter, all these pagan holidays, all of you that reject his true Hebrew name, all you that reject his true Hebrew Messiah's name, his son's name. He's talking about you guys. For they transgressed my Torah, violated my statutes, broke the everlasting covenant. That was his Sabbath. He says the Sabbath is a covenant between you and me. It's like an invisible contract. That's how he determines who are his children and who are not. Who are the wheat, who are the tares. Therefore a curse devours the earth, and those who live in it are held guilty. Everybody will be judged against his Torah, his laws. Not the laws of the land, not the laws of the Pope, but his law, the Torah. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men are left. He's telling you the path is very, very narrow. There's only going to be a few people left that can handle this. The fire that's coming to the earth is hell. It's coming to you. You don't have to go to hell. It's coming. It's coming to you. Isaiah 24:19 through 23. The earth is broken asunder. The earth is split through. The earth is shaking violently. Look at the earthquakes the whole earth is shaking right now. For you guys that are paying attention, the earth reels to and fro like a drunkard, and it totters like a shack. He's talking about the great earthquake that's coming. For its transgression is heavy upon it, and it will fall, never to rise again. So it will happen in that day. He's talking about the great and terrible day of Yah. That Yah will punish the host of heaven on high. He's talking about the elite, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, all the people that's ruled, the Queen, all the people that's ruling over the earth right now. He's going to punish them. And the kings of the earth on earth. He's talking about the kings are your presidents, the ones ruling over the nations. They will be gathered together like prisoners in the dungeon, and will be confined in prison. Talking about FEMA camps. And after many days they will be punished. Then the moon will be abashed and the sun ashamed. For Yahushua will reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and his glory will be before his elders. He's talking about before Abraham and them. Jeremiah 7:18 through 20. The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead dough to make cakes for the Queen of Heaven. And they pour out drink offerings to other gods in order to spite me. Do they spite me, declares Yah? Is it not themselves that they spite to their own shame, to their own destruction, is what he's saying. Therefore, thus saith Yah, behold, my anger and my wrath will be poured out on this place. Talking about earth. And on man and on beast and on the trees of the field. Have you seen out in California? It's burning. His wrath is there. And on the fruit of the ground. I noticed this year my tomatoes didn't do too good. Of course, I didn't take care of them like I should have. But a lot of crops are not doing good right now. And it will burn. The earth will burn. That's hell. Hell, and not be quenched. Hell is coming to anyone who thinks they don't have to obey his law. Amos 9:5. Yah of spirits, the one who touches the land so that it melts. All he has to do is touch it to melt it. He created it. And all those who dwell in it mourn, cry. And all of it rises up like the Nile and subsides like the Nile of Egypt. Micah 1:1 through 7. The word of Yah which came to Micah of Morsheth in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and I can't pronounce that word, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Hear, O people, all of you. He says all of you better be listening to what he's saying. Listen, O earth and its inhabitants, and let Yah be a witness against you. Yah from his holy temple, for behold, Yah is coming forth from his place. He's coming from the clouds up on high. He will come down and tread on the high places of the earth. The mountains will melt under him, and the valleys will split. When you shake a mountain so hard with an earthquake that he's got, it's going to just crumble. And the valleys will be split like the wax before the fire. It's just going to melt. Like water poured down a steep place. Makes me think of lava. And in this is for the lawlessness of Jacob. Torelessness is what he's saying. Those who think they don't have to obey. And for the sins of the house of Israel. What is the lawlessness of Jacob? He's asking you. Is it not Samaria? What is the high place of Judah? Is it not Jerusalem? Have you seen the Zionists and what's going on over in Jerusalem right now? Homosexual. That's all that's over there. Zionist. Sodom and Gomorrah. For I will make Samaria a heap of ruins in the open country, planting places for a vineyard. I will pour her stones down into the valley, and I will lay bare her foundations. Talking about Jerusalem. You Christians are praying for Jerusalem. He's telling you he's going to destroy it. So you are praying against his will. He's telling you, I'm going to destroy that Sodom and Gomorrah, that Jerusalem that exists over there today. All of her idols will be smashed. All of her earnings will be burned with fire. All the wealth that's over there, all the money that the United States is pouring into Jerusalem, billions and billions of American taxpayer dollars are being sent over there for war. All of her images I will make desolate, for she collected them from a harlot's earnings. Talking about on the backs of poor people. And to the earnings of a harlot they will return. Nahum 1:1-8. Yah is avenging and wrathful. Is this what you Christians has been taught in church? Or have you been taught he's loving and forgiving? He goes by what his word says. You obey, he has mercy on you. You disobey his Torah, you get his wrath. Yah takes vengeance on his adversaries. If you don't obey his law, you are his enemy. And he reserves wrath for his enemies. Yah is slow to anger, but great in power. And Yah will by no means leave the lawless unpunished. Do you hear what he's telling you? If you are lawless, you will be punished. Period. His word says it. So shall it be done. And in a whirlwind and storm is his way. He will punish you through hurricanes, through tornadoes, through any means he chooses, that he chooses. And the clouds are the dust beneath his feet. Yah rebukes the sea and makes it dry. Did he not part the sea? Yah dries up all the rivers. When all this fire comes to the earth, you're going to see your creeks and your rivers dry up. Yah dries up all the rivers. Bashan and Carmel wither. The blossoms of Lebanon wither. Mountains quake because of Yah, and the hills dissolve. When you shake this earth like he's going to shake it, the hills are just going to crumble like a pile of sand. Indeed, the earth is upheavened by Yah's presence. This earth just shakes if he comes near it. The world and all the inhabitants in it. Who can stand before Yah's indignation? Can you? Can you? Who can endure the burning of Yah's anger? Can you? Yah's wrath is poured out like fire, the firestorm that's coming, and the rocks are broken up by him. Yah is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. This is for the ones that obey his Torah and keep his everlasting covenant, the Sabbath. He will be your strong tower in this time. And Yah knows who take refuge in him. He knows that I know that he is my only hope. But with an overflowing flood, he will make a complete end of its sight, the earth, and will pursue his enemies into darkness. He's going to run his enemies into the caves where all the elite are starting to go. Zephaniah 1, 2 through 4. I, Yah, will completely remove all things from the face of the earth, declares Yah. I will remove man and beast. I will remove the birds of the sky and the fish of the sea, and the ruins along with the lawless, the torelessness. And I, Yah, will cut off man from the face of the earth, declares Yah. So I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place. The remnant is your leaders that are running the world right now. They are Baal descendants. They are descendants of Baal. They are grandchildren of Baal. And the names of the idolatrous priest along with the priest. He's talking about your pastors and those underneath your pastors, even the Pope and the ones underneath the Pope. Zephaniah 3, 8 through 10. Therefore wait for me, declares Yah, for the day when I, Yah, rise up as a witness. Indeed, my decision is to gather nations, to assemble kingdoms, to pour out on them my indignation, all of my burning anger, the firestorm that's coming. For all the earth will be devoured by the fire of my zeal. For then I will give to the people a pure language. The language we speak is corrupt. He's going to give us back the original language that Adam and Eve spoke in the garden. We are speaking curses upon ourselves, that all of them may call on the name Yah, to serve him shoulder to shoulder. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my obedient ones, the ones that obey his Torah, my dispersed ones, the ones that are scattered, will bring my offerings. His offerings is your obedience. Ezekiel 25:17. I, Yah, will execute great vengeance on them. You who think you don't have to obey his laws, his Torah, with wrathful rebukes. Then you will know that I am Yah, when I lay my vengeance upon them. You. Isaiah 26:21. For behold, Yah is coming out from his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their lawlessness. And the earth will disclose the blood shed on it, and will no more cover its slains. These are the ones that's died in the earth. They're coming back up. some to everlasting life, some, or I should say most, to everlasting shame. Revelation 19:11 through 21. Then I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. The one sitting on it is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. He makes war. His eyes are like a flame of fire. He's going to burn the earth just by looking at it. And on his head are many diadems. And he has a name written that no one knows but himself. He is clothed in a robe dipped in blood. The lawless ones. And the name by which he is called is the word of Yah, the Torah of Yah, the law of Yah. And the armies of heaven arrayed in fine linen, white and pure, were following him also on white horses. From his mouth comes a sharp sword with which to strike down the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. When he comes, I dare you to tell him that you're going to hang his laws on your pagan cross. Tell him you're going to hang his laws on your cross. He will tread the winepress of the fury of the wrath of Yah, the Creator of all. Romans 2:5. But because of your hard and impotent heart, you are storing up wrath for yourself on the day of wrath when Yah's righteous judgment will be revealed. You're storing up wrath. Stop eating swine. Start obeying the Sabbath. Stop celebrating Christmas and pagan holidays. You're storing up wrath. You're storing up pain. Revelation 20:15. And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. He's talking about the earth. You're going to be standing here one day and all of a sudden you're going to be thrown into hell because hell is coming to you. All of a sudden you're going to wake up and you're in it. You're like, what happened? Well, you didn't obey. That's what happened. You thought you didn't have to. Tribulation is what you're going to be thrown into. Hebrews 10:26 through 31. For if we go on deliberately being lawless after receiving the knowledge of the truth, the Torah, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. You're screwed. If you don't start obeying the Torah, there's no more sacrifice for you. You're done. But a fearful expectation of judgment and a fury of fire that will consume his adversaries. There's two types of people on the planet. There's wheat, there's tares. The wheat obey his Torah, his law. The tares don't. It's easy. It's going to be easy to separate them. Anyone, listen to what the word says. Anyone who set aside the law, the Torah of Moses, dies without mercy on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. He gave Moses the Torah. He is saying anyone who has hung his laws on a pagan cross dies without mercy on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. How much worse punishment do you think will be deserved by the one who has rejected the Son of Yah, Yahushua? Are you going to deny that Yahushua is the Son of Yah and say that his name is Jesus? The Hebrew name is Yahushua. Jesus is Greek. Are you going to worship the Hebrew Elohim or the Greek Elohim? And has profaned the blood of the covenant by which he was sanctified, and has outraged the Spirit of grace. For we know him who said, we know the one that said, vengeance is mine, I will repay, and again Yah will judge his people. John 15:6. If anyone does not obey me, he is thrown away like a branch and withers, and the branches are gathered. He's talking about the tares gathered together, and they're thrown into the fire and burned. Galatians 5:19 through 21. Now the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. I warn you, as I warned you before. Talking about your ancestors. He warned them too. That those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of Yah. So if any one of these attributes describe you, you're not going. Luke 12:5. But I warn you whom to fear. Fear him who, after he has killed, maybe you'll fear him after he kills a few billion people. Maybe you'll think, well, maybe I should fear him. Has authority to cast into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. You better fear him. Ephesians 5:6. Let no one deceive you with empty words. Your pastors are giving you empty words. For because of these things, the wrath of Yah comes upon the sons of lawlessness. Your pastor should have warned you that if you didn't obey, you were going to burn. Revelation 6:16 and 17. Calling to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us. He's talking about the lawless ones. And hide us from the face of Yah, who is sealed on the throne, and from the wrath of Yahushua, his son. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand? You big strong men, you're going to cry like babies. You are going to cry like a big baby. Colossians 3:6. On account of these, talking about the lawless ones, the wrath of Yah is coming. Because of you not obeying his law, he's coming. Deuteronomy 28:1 through 6:8. Now I'm going to give you the good news. You finally get the good news. Deuteronomy 28:1 through 68. And if you faithfully obey the voice of Yah, your Creator. He's saying, if you'll do this, if you will obey him, being careful to do all his commandments that he commanded you. Go back and see what he commanded you to do on Mount Sinai, what he gave to Moses. This is what he commanded you to do. Yah, your creator, will set you high above all the nations of the earth. You will be kings and priests, is what he's telling you. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you. You're going to be surprised at what all he's going to do for you. You've been wretched and poor. Now you're going to be rich. He says all the gold and silver is mine. And he can give it to whoever he wants. If you obey the voice of Yah, your creator, blessed shall you be in the city. He's talking about the new kingdom coming. And blessed shall you be in the field. He's talking about your gardens. Your gardens are going to produce 7 times what they do now. Blessed shall be the fruit of your womb. Talking about your children's even going to be blessed. They're not going to be sick anymore. They're not going to have brain tumors anymore. They're not going to have epilepsy. They're not going to have seizures. All of this is going to be gone. And the fruit of your ground and the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your herds and the young of your flock. They're going to have a whole lot, your animals are going to have a lot more babies. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Do you see the goodness of Yah? But you got to obey. It's simple as that. If you obey him, he don't have any reason to punish you. You don't have to go through hell. You don't have to go through tribulation. If you obey, you must obey. Shalom.